And I'm like, no. How do I do this to myself? So I'm just 1 star because I'm a bitch. I wanted to sew for the rest of my life. I haven't read this. Jesus Christ. Am I really gonna be that bitch? I'm really gonna be that bitch. Hello, my name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing something a little crazy and different. I just sort of spontaneously came up with this, and I wanted to see what would happen. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, so if it's 45 minutes long, which it probably will be because we all know me, I'm sorry. Basically what I'm going to be doing is going through every book that I've ever marked as read on Goodreads and rating it. If you follow me on Goodreads, I'm incredibly sorry for the amount of like status updates you're gonna get within the next however long this video takes me. I don't know why I want to do this. It just felt weird to have books that I'd marked as read but not that I'd ever rated or like really talked about. And I'm probably just gonna randomize it because I just want to see what's gonna come up. But yeah, I guess let's just get started. Oh, I need to start a screen recording. Fuck, how do I do that? I should have figured this out before I started filming. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Let's hope this works. If it'll load. My Wi-Fi is being horrible today, by the way. Let's see. Let's change this to... Isn't there a randomizer one? Random. So we'll just like whatever comes up and we'll see what happens. Catwoman Soul Sealer by Sarah J. Maas. Okay, I have never really been a big superhero person because my parents were never big on like watching superhero movies or anything like that. So I never really got into superhero movies until my cousins got me to watch Spider-Man Homecoming in like 2016 or 2017. And after that I was head over heels. I have now watched every single Marvel movie. Well, not every single one. I haven't watched the original Spider-Mans or the Hulks because I've heard that they're not great. And I stan Tom Holland as Peter Parker, so. But I have been obsessed with the DC Icons series. I've read Wonder Woman and Catwoman. And I really want to read the Batman one and the Superman one that have been released. And they've actually been really good because I really did enjoy Wonder Woman when I watched it. And I've recently watched Birds of Prey, which I thought was amazing. But like, I really need to get through the DC movies. Anyway, that's not relevant. I need to rate Catwoman. See, here's the thing. I did really enjoy it. But I remember being confused and concerned. I feel like there was one part that was like low-key queer-baited. Was it? It's been a long time since I've read it, you guys. A long time. Plus it's Sarah J. Maas. Like, I'm gonna rate it 4 stars. We're just gonna keep it there. Okay, Radio Silence, we've rated that. Son of Sobek. Yeah, okay, let's keep going. It's Rick Riordan. If I don't rate something 5 stars, it's Rick Riordan, there's some problem with that. Speaking of, I don't think I rated the entire Kane Chronicles 5 stars because I didn't like them very much, but like, that's an opinion that not everyone shares, so I'm just gonna shut up now. The Bane Chronicles. On one hand, it's Magnus Bane. On the other hand, it was incredibly boring. Well, some of the stories. Some of the stories were great. Some of the stories were incredibly boring. Why did I decide to do this? This is going to be incredibly difficult for me. Oh yeah, I should mention, if you want to follow me on Goodreads, the link is in the description. If you really want to get these updates next time I try to do a video like this, yeah. I don't know why you'd want to follow me on Goodreads, but like, you know, you do you. I kind of want to rate it 4 stars. Just like, there were too many stories that were like beautiful, that like overrode the stories that were kind of shit, so 4 stars. We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faizal. I think I have to go with 4 stars. That just seems right. Moon Chosen. Oh my god, I haven't thought about this book in forever. I got an ARC of this book before it came out through my library, and I remember really liking it because I thought the concept was so interesting. But it is a super confusing book. Do I rate it 3 or 4 stars? I also, like, I never rate things 3 stars or below unless I really dislike them. I know that's not how the star rating system should work, but I always, yeah, I overinflate my love of books. I think because I'm hesitating, I'm gonna give it a 3 star. Maybe I'll change that in the future. Oh my god. I read The Apothecary in 7th grade. That was like 6 years ago. I don't remember what was in it. I remember it being like complex. 3 stars. Just because I don't remember very much, but I remember it being pretty good. Daughter of Smoke and Bone! Okay, the Daughter of Smoke and Bone series as a whole is insane, but also so hard to read. I had such a hard time reading this series, but the first book in particular, 5 stars. 5 stars. Oh my god, the Iron Trial. Okay, funny story. I don't actually remember ever reading the Iron Trial. So I feel like I can't rate it because I don't remember ever reading it. But I mean, if it was unmemorable, then I should just mark it like 3 stars or something like that. Because that's the thing, I don't know whether I'm remembering a different book or that book. I'm in a 2 stars because Goodreads said it was okay, and like that's how I'm gonna rate it. Pride by Ibby Zoboy. I think I have to give this 4 stars. The only reason is that I don't remember there being any LGBTQ plus characters, and especially if it's a contemporary. If it's a fantasy, I'm more okay with it, but if it's a contemporary and there's no LGBTQ plus characters, like, I'm sorry? What? Oh, the Finishing School series. That series hit different. Oof. Okay, 5 stars, obviously. 5 stars. Beautiful. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. See, the thing is that I loved this series when I first read it, and now that it's been a few years and I've heard people talking about it, I'm like, is that really how I feel about it though, or am I just making things up? I think I have to give it 4 stars because I remember being disappointed in that book as a finale. 3 stars then. Plus, like I said, there's like 0 LGBTQ plus characters, so automatic. Even though it's fantasy, because it's also just a confusing novel. Part of me wants to reread the series because I want to remember what I liked about it and like see if I still like the same things, but like part of me is like, that's a huge ass series. No way. So 3 stars. Assassin's Blade. Ooh, not even as good as Kingdom of Ash. 2 stars. Fence Volume 1 by C.S. Passat and Johanna the Mad. I love this series. It's amazing. It's a graphic novel comic series, and they're having like a full-length novel come out, I think later this year. Quality. 5 stars. Yeah, it gets 5 stars. To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay, I read To Kill a Mockingbird for the first time when I was in 9th grade, and I loved it. It was my favorite book that I read that year. And then I reread it again in 12th grade, and I still really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really great book. But I'm considering moving it down to 3 stars. I don't really want to play with my old ratings just because I know that like my tastes have changed, and like if I reread that book it would be totally different now, but I can't constantly update my rating system and like how I rate things, so I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, This Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. 5 stars. That series is beautiful. Please read it if you haven't. The Ever After War by Michael Buckley. Ooh, which one is this? Oh, I remember this one. Okay, I read the Sisters Grimm series obsessively in like 7th and 8th grade. I thought it was amazing, my sister and I. And like, it's hilarious. It's a really funny series, and so I kind of wanted to give it 5 stars. It was really good. It's like such an interesting concept. It's so different. I've never read a book with that level of fantasy, and like the characters are super well defined. They don't bleed into each other or anything. Yeah, 5 stars. I don't think about 5 stars. The Hex Hall series. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. It's just not very memorable. Okay, The Last Star by Rick Yancey. It was good. It was sad. I'm gonna give it 4 stars. The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodgkin. Ooh. I'm kind of worried that my review of this has been tainted by hearing other people's opinions. Because I remember, like, yeah, it wasn't as good as The Unbecoming and The Evolution, the first 2 books in the series. But, like, I still remember it being really good. But like the more that I hear other people talk about it, they're like, yeah, it just wasn't a good book. I'm like, huh, maybe it wasn't a good book. So I kind of want to just give it 3 stars and move on. Okay, that's what we're doing. The Unbound by Victoria Schwab. I have no idea. It's been a really long time, like most of these books, since I read this book. And it's just like, it's not one of the ones that I first think of when I think of Victoria Schwab or V.E. Schwab. So I'm kind of tempted to give it 3 stars. But because it's Victoria Schwab, I might bump it up to 4. I'm gonna give it 3. Meet Cute, edited by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Oh my god, that book is adorable. 4 stars. Quality. Quality. Lil and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. This was my least favorite book of the Anne and the French Kiss series. I used to love this series, and the more that I think about it, the more I'm like, It's obnoxiously straight, and I'm kind of like, do I love it that much anymore? So I'm gonna give it 3. Furyborn by Claire Legrand. Okay, once again, obnoxiously straight fantasy series. But like, I'm kind of still loving it. So 5 stars. To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. 4 stars. Yeah, 4 stars. We're gonna go with that. The Raven Boys by Maggie Steele out of 5 stars. Of Poseidon by Anna Banks. Oh my god, this series is a godsend. This series is god level. I love this series so much. 5 stars. It's cliche. It's once again obnoxiously straight. And it's literally about mermaids, but like, it's just so good. Quality. Quality. Ban This Book by Alan Gratz. 5 stars. This book is adorable. It's about a little girl in elementary school or middle school. She's like 11 or 12. And her library starts banning her favorite books. So what she does is buys copies, puts them in her locker, and lets people like take them out. And it's just so cute. And it's like, I love how she's trying to defeat the system and like sharing her love of books and just like, oh, it's adorable. The Time Traveling Fashionista, Cleopatra, the Queen of the Nile, which is the 3rd book in that series by Bianca Turtsky. I don't remember this book at all. The first one was about the Titanic, which was terrifying. The second one was about the French Revolution, which was less terrifying. This one was about Cleopatra, but like I don't remember this one at all. So like 3 stars? The second book was peak level. The first and third books were like, Ooh, The Total Tragedy of a Girl Named Hamlet. I'm kind of afraid of that book. But I like I said, I'm not changing past ratings, so... Oh, Rebel Bell. Goodbye Stranger by Rebecca Steed. 4 stars? It didn't hit at the same level as When You Reach Me, but like still good, so 4 stars. Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. I kind of want to give it 4 stars because I loved the first book, and I think that the second book and the third book were really great too, but I just had such a hard time reading them because I was doing so much like in my life when I was reading them, and so I didn't really have the time to concentrate on a high fantasy series. And I think that if I reread them, I could have a new appreciation for them, especially since I've been reading a lot more high fantasy, but like 4 stars. The Unusual Suspects by Michael Buckley. This is like the 2nd or 3rd book in that series. I think I'm gonna give all the Sisters Grimm books 5 stars because they're just quality, peak level. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Ooh. This is a very unpopular opinion, but I did not like Frankenstein. I feel like a lot of people really enjoy Frankenstein. Like, oh my god, look at all the themes, and like, the monster's not actually bad, and I'm like, no. Dr. Frankenstein annoyed the fuck out of me. He was just, stop being so entitled and bitchy. And then like, the Frankenstein's monster, like, yeah, of course I sympathized with him. He was being ostracized from society, but like, 2. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. The only reason I'm considering giving this book not 5 stars is that, like a lot of other books where I consider not giving it 5 stars, it was obnoxiously straight, but it's really good, so 4 stars. This Time Will Be Different by Misa Sugiura. I did really enjoy this book when I read it. There were some things, I thought that the book tried to tackle too many subjects. Like, tried to get everything, like racism, homophobia, sexism, all of this stuff, and it's like, whoa. Calm down a little, because you can't fit all of that into a narrative and still have it be interesting for especially YA readers to read. So like 3 stars. Bloom by Kevin Panetta and Suzanne something? I don't remember the other person, sorry. 5 stars, it was a good one. The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. Okay, that one has to get 5 stars because that was the first one. That one scared the shit out of me, but was so good. Alex and Eliza by Melissa de la Cruz. 3 stars. I'm skipping the series that's not going to be named because I really don't want to give it space in my life anymore, and it's not going to. So if you see it, just ignore it because I'm just going to keep scrolling, even if I haven't rated it. Fire and Ice by Erin Hunter, which is the 2nd book in the Warrior series. Oh, the Warrior series. Fire and Ice I have to give 4 stars because that was like one of my least favorite in the original series. That one and the 5th book, but I don't remember what the 5th book was called. So 4 stars, but most of that series gets 5 stars because it's iconic. Why do I have Meet Cute on here twice? Ugh, I hope it doesn't reshuffle. It's gonna reshuffle, isn't it? Fuck. Okay, we're going on to Rising Storm, which is the 4th Warriors book by Erin Hunter. I'm still gonna have to give this 4 stars because I don't remember it very much. I think out of that whole series, I have to give the 1st book, the 3rd book, and not the 5th book, the 6th book. All those ones have to be 5 stars, but I think the rest are gonna be 4. Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wine. 5 stars. This book was insane. I could not believe what happened in this book. I was shook the entire time I was reading it. I was like, excuse me. Excuse me, no. How did you know? No. Just like, ugh, God level. God level. Never Fade by Alexandra Bracken. I'm gonna have to give it 4 stars. The first book, The Darkest Minds, is incredible. Beautiful, a masterpiece. And the other 2 didn't quite hit up there, although they were amazing. So 4 stars feels appropriate. Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, 5 fucking stars, fantastic. Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I kind of want to give it 1 star. I didn't really like it at all. I get that it's supposed to be literary fiction and like I shouldn't have read it because literary fiction is not my thing, but I did have to read it for school. Yeah, 1 star. Oh, I think that's the only book I've ever given 1 star. Don't come for me, please. Oh, this is the first book in the, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's by a German author. It's by the author of the Ruby Red series. And I really enjoyed this series too when I read it. I just don't remember it at all. Like, I just don't remember it. So like, I think I have to give it 3 stars because I remember enjoying it, but I don't remember it enough to give it more than that. Time Traveling Fashionista, 3 stars because I don't like the Titanic. That's not the only reason why. It was a solid beginning, but like, this is probably sound really weird, but in that series, book 2 was the one that like really hit peak level. Probably because I reread it so many times, but like, we're just gonna go with it. ACOTAR. I loved this series when I first read it. I recommended it to so many people. But like I said, the more that I've heard about Sarah J. Maas and like her very straight books, I just kind of want to throw it down the drain. 3 stars. 4 stars. Because like it does have good merits. It has a really interesting world and like the characters are pretty interesting, but it's just like, oh my god. 3 stars. I have to give it 3 stars. Tiger's Curse by Colleen Hooke. Oh my god. 4 stars. I don't know why I can't give this series 5 stars. Probably because I never finished it. And it's like kind of cliche, but it's also so good. Oh my god. I have a couple things on here that it's like, if I read it now for the first time, I would be like, no, you need to leave me alone because you're disgusting. But the fact that I read it when I was a certain age and like loved it at that age, it's like I have to give it 4 stars because of the nostalgia. If I read Tiger's Curse now for the first time, I would want to claw my eyes out. I don't think I would even pick it up in the first place because it's like the main character is kind of bland. There's a love triangle, all this stuff. But like when I was 13, I ate that shit up. So 4 stars. Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. It was okay. 2 stars. The new Prophecy Warrior series is my shit. 5 stars. The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. Okay, this one. I said before that I don't like the Red Pyramid series, but the first one, good. Some good shit right there. Shatter Me by Taylor Mafi. This is a good series. I did really like it. 4 stars. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. 5 stars. Brandon Sanderson is a god, and so are his books. Deep Blue Secret by Anderson Christie. The Waterkeepers #1. I read this? Okay, new rule. I haven't read it. Well, I have. I'm pretty sure I've read it. But because I don't remember literally ever reading it, I'm gonna have to skip it because I can't rate it if I don't remember it. The first Sisters Grimm book, 5 stars. Excellent. Curses and Conspiracies by Gail Carriger. 4 stars for the nostalgia. It's still pretty stereotypical, but it's good. It's good. Find Me by Taylor Mafi. I think I have to give it 4 stars. 4 stars. Making the Cut by Margaret Gurevich. Here's the thing with that book. I read this book in a time in my life when I was obsessed with fashion. I wanted to sew for the rest of my life. I don't know why, but I did. I loved it then, and like the illustrations in it are excellent. But it's just, it's such a cliche. Such a cliche. But like, it was good. Nah, 2 stars. Sinner, The Wolves of Mercy Falls, #4 by Maggie Stiefvater. Oh, The Wolves of Mercy Falls. I've heard so many people rant about how much they hate this series. But like, once again, 15-year-old me, man, was like, yes, please. So, 4 stars. Mooncakes by Suzanne Walker and Wendy Zhu, 5 stars. Little Town on the Prairie by Laura Ingalls Wilder. 5 stars. Once again, the Little House series was one that I loved when I was little. And so like if I give it anything less than like 5 or 4 stars, it's going to hurt my soul. If I reread it now, would I think the same? Probably not. Because I read it when I was little, it has all those memories attached to it. 4 stars. Here's to You, Rachel Robinson by Judy Blume. I loved that series. Like Judy Blume, not every single Judy Blume, but like specific ones that I could find on Kindle. Because I read them on my Kindle before I bought print books. But honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, all the characters in the series were kind of mean to each other, and like I got really annoyed about that. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Forever Again by Victoria Laurie. This book isn't memorable at all. 2 stars. The Crown of Ptolemy, oh my god, okay. It's a Percy Jackson and King Chronicles crossover, 5 stars, automatically. The Rest of Us Just Live Here by Patrick Ness. I haven't read this. Continuing on. The Hidden Oracle by Rick Riordan. See, I love Rick Riordan, and I respect him so much. I stan Rick Riordan with all of my heart. He's my favorite, and without Rick Riordan, I would have a very different life right now, probably. But The Hidden Oracle, I just hate Apollo. I've hated Apollo since the first time we met him in... My god, I just reread the series. Oh yeah, we first met him in The Titan's Curse. So, like, I have hated him ever since the beginning of that book. But, like, Percy Jackson was in it. 3 stars. 2 stars. We're gonna rate it down to 2 stars. If I reread it and give it 3 stars, like, that's fine. But right now, from what I remember, 2 stars. For Your Religious Basic C by Tahena Mafi. It was straight, but still 5 stars. Restore Me by Tahena Mafi. Ooh. I don't think that the second Tahena Mafi series is as good as the first one. Like, you know how the Shadow Me series is split into the first and the second, sort of like 2 trilogies, but in a whole series? The first series is better. The second series kind of flops. But I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Manners and Mutiny by Gil Carriger. Okay, once again, finishing a school series. That's my shit. 4 stars. I didn't rate Not Your Sidekick? That's awful. Why didn't I do that? I guess because I couldn't decide what I wanted. But like, I think I have to give it 5 stars. In hindsight, 5 stars. It's amazing. City of Ghosts. Oh, City of Ghosts, 5 stars. Mostly because it's set in England and there's a cat. But like, it's just so good. If you guys don't like middle grade, like you might not like it, but like the City of Ghosts series by Victoria Schwab, it's beautiful because it's everything you love about Victoria Schwab's writing in this beautiful little package that you could read in an afternoon instead of having to take 3 days to read, you know, A Conjuring of Light. Like, what could go wrong with that? Ugh. What's next? Grief is the Thing with Feathers by Max Porter. Bleh. 1 star. I don't like reading books for school. So whenever I have to read a book for school, it gets so tainted in my mind and I hate it. Ooh, The Radios of Us by Marie Mardiquit. I don't actually know if that's how you say that name, but I don't care that much, so sorry. No. I barely remember this book, and I already remember like that I didn't like it. 1 star. Etiquette and Espionage. Okay, it's the first book in the series. That was the best one. Sight Witch by Susan Dennard. I mean, it was about Ryber. I may give it 4 stars. The Witchland series is phenomenal, but I think that Sight Witch was hard because it was a character that we didn't know very well, and yeah, we were getting to know her, but like, I just wanted more of the regular Witchland series, like with Safi and Isolde, like, so yeah, 4 stars. But like, it's still excellent. Ghost of the Shadow Market. I love the Mortal Instruments, I love the Shadowhunter Chronicles, but all of the anthologies are just sort of like, especially because this one was about Jem, and like some of the stories I just wanted to bang my head against the wall. But like, some of those stories were amazing. 4 stars. 1984 by George Orwell. Can I give it -1 star? I hated that book. I know that there are a lot of people who like it, but like, okay, let's keep going. Oh my god. I love, oh, the Mother Daughter Book Club series. Oh, quality. Okay, Wildcard by Marie Lu. Was not as good as Warcross. 3 stars. Absolutely Remarkable Thing by Hank Green. 5 stars. Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. 5 stars. Do I need to explain myself any further than that? No, I don't think so. Queen of Red and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's 5 stars. Problem Child by Michael Buckley. I think this has to get 4 stars because like I don't remember it entirely, but like it's still the Sisters Grimm series, so quality. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. The funny thing about this book is that I actually didn't mind it that much. I grew up a Twilight hater because my then favorite series and Twilight kept getting pitted against each other, and I was like, well, I can't like both of these, so I have to be a Twilight hater, which is not how it should work. No one should hate the people that read the book solely because they read the book. You can hate a book, that's fine. But I genuinely thought the book wasn't that bad. Like, it's no 4 star. It's like, it's 3 or 2. But like, it wasn't that bad. 3 stars. Ooh, The Duff. I liked the movie better than the book. 2 stars. Tales from the Hood. Oh my god, I love that. Oh my god, this was the Little Red Riding Hood. This one was excellent. 4 stars, 4 stars. Dance of Thieves by Mary E. Pearson. See, this book was interesting because there were so many plot twists, but like, I felt like I was missing something, so might have to give it 3 stars. The New Prophecy by Aaron Hunter, 5 stars. Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra Clare. I feel like I can't not give it 5 stars. Yep, can't not give it 5 stars. Breathe by Kate Pullinger. This book was actually really interesting. It was written in second person, I want to say, and it was like an interactive like ebook experience, which was really, really cool, and I want to read more books like that. So I think I'm going to give it 4 stars. Shadow Me by Tahira Mafi. Was this the Kenji book? I think it was. 4 stars. Our Talk Duet, Monsters of Fairy #2, automatic 5 stars. Little House on the Prairie, 4 stars. Just, it wasn't as good. You guys can see Tales from Shadowhunter Academy getting a 5-star up there. You know what? That was when I read it. That was 2016. We're not going to talk about 14-year-old me loving that book, even though it wasn't that great. Yeah, Little House on the Prairie is going to get 4 stars just because it wasn't as good as the first or the third books. That's the only reason. Not Your Sidekick by C.B. Lee. I don't remember if I rated this already. I'm going to say 4 stars. The plot didn't quite hit God level, but I think that it has potential to within the series. Divergent by Veronica Roth. Ooh. Okay, I thought that the first book was pretty great. I liked the concept and the world, and I liked her learning how to fight and all that stuff. But when the book ended, I knew that the next 2 books were just going to be like fighting to kill, and that was then not really my thing. I think that if I gave it another chance, I might like it, but it's also super basic, and I'd rather read a more diverse one. So I think I would give it 3 stars. Holicity by Ransom Riggs. Once again, like 4 stars because it was really amazing, but it wasn't gay, so. The Alchemist by Michael Scott. I don't remember this book at all. I mean, I remember that it was really interesting. I just, like, it was too much. 2 stars. Warcross by Marie Lu. 5 stars. We're gonna have to give it 5 stars because it was pretty dang excellent. The Council of Mirrors by Michael Buckley. 5 stars, obviously. Ooh, Nightfall by Shane the Messenger. The thing with the Keeper of the Lost City series is I used to love that series. I thought the first book was amazing, the second, like, all of that. But the thing is that the series just keeps trying to hit a new level with each book. They keep getting bigger, the plot keeps getting a lot more complicated, and this might sound super selfish, but like I just couldn't keep up with it. Like the plot just got so twisted and there were so many connections that I just couldn't make. But like it's a middle grade series. How are kids going to keep up with this? Unless they reread it obsessively, which is like, I understand. So, but the writing is still really good. 3 stars. Library of Souls by Ransom Riggs. So I'm sorry if the angle just changed. My camera cut out. So you don't get the footage of me talking about Library of Souls. I gave it 4 stars because I did think that the plot was amazing. But like, you know, like I said, it doesn't hit quite up here. Okay, the next one is The Sight by Erin Hunter, which is the first book in the 3rd series of The Warriors. I think there's like 7 series now. It's insane. But if you haven't read The Warriors, it's basically like there's a 6-book series and then there's like a new sort of overarching plot, but a lot of the same characters will pop up in future books. And I feel like the farther in that I got to being introduced to the characters, the more that I started to dislike it. Like, I loved the first series that was, what's it called? I don't remember what it's called. I loved the first series that they wrote in general. The second series was really interesting because it was like an adventure. But the 3rd series just sort of got super magical and kind of weird. And like, I get that they're cats, like they have their own superstition, but like... So like, 2 stars. When Dimple Met Rashid by Sandia Manon. This is a good series. One of the reasons that I don't want to give it full stars is because it's so straight. And I know that that's like a stupid reason to not want to rate a book higher, but like to me that it's not, because it's like there are LGBTQ plus people everywhere in the world. You just have to make sure you're around them. I feel like everyone that I know, I mean, I'm LGBTQ plus, so obviously everyone I know knows, an LGBTQ plus person, but like everyone does, and even if they don't know it, they do. And so whenever there's a book that just has no LGBTQ plus characters, it's like, excuse me, are you sure? So, 3 stars. The Librarian of Auschwitz by Antonio Iturbe. I think I have to give this 5 stars because this story was phenomenal, and the fact that it was a real story, like a true story of someone's life, made it that much greater. So yeah. The Wrath of the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I loved this book. I thought it was amazing when I read it. I would need to reread it, I think, to give it 5 stars, but like... it was really good, so I think I'm gonna give it 4. Oh, it's gonna reload again, isn't it? You know what? We're just gonna start from here. I'm obviously having trouble. I'm sorry about how long this video is, and my computer's almost dead. Okay, when we get to 5% of my computer, I'll promise I'll end. Sapphire Blue by Kirsten Gier. This series is cliche as fuck, but my 12-year-old self reading it had a grand old time, so 4 stars. Crimson Bound by Rosamund Hodge. I know that I've read this book because I own it and I remember reading my physical copy, but I don't remember anything about this book, so like 2 stars. Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. Fan-fucking-tastic, 5 stars. Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. 5 stars. That was my favorite book in the whole series. The other 2 I didn't like. Well, I liked Gemini, I didn't like Obsidio as much, but like Illuminate was excellent. Mark of Athena by Rick Riordan. I am going to hold off on rating this book because I am about to reread it and I'm probably going to give it 5 stars because it's excellent. I'm going to rate it after I finish it, but it's probably going to be 5 stars, just so you know. We Shall Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. I think that this is an incredibly important book, which is why I want to give it 5 stars, because I felt that the way that things were talked about weren't really the way that I sort of agreed with and like sort of vibed with. I'm going to give it 4 stars because it was still really amazing. Emerald Green by Kirsten Gier, 5 stars. Crown's Fate by Evelyn Skye. I don't remember this book. I remember the first book. I remember that I was excellent. I don't remember this book at all. 2 stars. It was okay. Everblaze by Shannon Messenger, 4 stars. It was really good, but that was the start of it getting super complex. Well, I guess it was more Never Seen. It was sort of the start of everything getting super complex, and I just wasn't vibing anymore. Death's End by Cixin Liu. I read I guess it's called the Remembrance of Earth Past trilogy. I just call it the 3 Body Problem series, back in 2018, 2019. And it's such a long series. When I was reading it, it felt like it was dragging on and on and on and on and on. But after having read it and like having been able to really think about it, it's amazing. It's so good. It's 5 stars. In the Afterlight by Alexandra Bracken. I think I have to give it 4 stars. It didn't hit the same level as The Darkest Minds. None of the books in that series did. Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. It was just so straight. Am I really gonna be that bitch? I'm really gonna be that bitch. 3 stars. Elephant and Other Stories by Raymond Carver. This was a short story collection that I read for a class, and I didn't hate it as much as the other ones. I'm still only gonna give it like 2-3 stars, but like I didn't hate it as much as the other ones, so like progress. 2 stars. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. The thing about this book is that it completely reflected me. Well, okay, it doesn't completely reflect me now. It felt like it completely reflected me when I initially read it, when I was like 16, I think, which is kind of why I'm tempted to give it 5 stars, but I also like don't really completely identify with it anymore just because I've grown since then. I think that when I read it, I would have given it 5 stars, and even now I think it's still good. I know there's a lot of controversy about Rainbow Rowell right now, but I still think it's good. So I'm kind of tempted just to give it 4 stars, even though I remember it being amazing. Unite Be by Tara Mafi. This is part of the first series. If I'm remembering these right, which I'm not sure that I am, but because I'm not remembering them, it's kind of like, I feel like I'm just gonna give these 3 stars. Just because I don't really remember them, and so then it's like, are they really necessary to the plot? I don't know. 3 stars. Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I loved this book when I read it, and now that it's been 2 years and that I've given it some thought, I'm kind of like 3 stars. 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. I hated this book, 1 star. The movie is way better. The thing is that the book was written after the whole movie had been filmed. So it was basically just a book version of the movie with a little extra added in. And that was just extra self-promo so that they could get, the story out there. And the book was awful. I don't know why it's still on the New York Times bestseller list. The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. Look at how many times I've read Heartstopper. It's more than that. I just stopped recording them because I realized that there was no need to keep recording them. Enchantment of Radiance by Margaret Rogerson. I wanted this book to be longer, and I thought the main character was kind of helpless. 3 stars. Kingsbane by Claire Legrand. This one gets 4 stars. It didn't quite hit the same for me as Furyborn did, but it was still insane, so 4 stars. Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. This book, the way that I remember it, I want to give it 4 stars, but the way that I critically think about it now, I want to give it 3, and I am so torn. I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. Just because, it was confusing, and I'm not sure that that's how I want it to go. Oh, let's try this. Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I love this book. Jane Eyre is amazing. It's one of the only books. I've read a couple of books for school that I enjoyed. I actually made a whole video about this, so like go check that out if you haven't. Yeah, this is one of the books that I read for school that I actually really enjoyed and gave so many stars because it's beautiful. The Raven King by Maggie C. Rutter. The Raven Cycle, 5 stars automatically. It's amazing. Heartstopper Volume 1. Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. The concept for this book was really, really interesting, but it was just sort of okay. But I am going to give it 3 stars. I am going to give it 3 stars. A Map of Days by Ransom Riggs. A lot of people are kind of like on the fence about the new sort of Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children trilogy-ish thing that's happening. How we've had A Map of Days, A Conference of Birds, and like whatever the 6th book's gonna be. But like, I actually really enjoyed A Map of Days. I thought it was really intriguing. Oof, my computer's working so hard right now. I'm sorry, bro. This is why I try not to use you anymore. So I kind of want to give it 4 stars because I did really like it. The first Keeper of the Lost Cities book has to get 5 stars. That book is excellent. The other ones are where it goes downhill, but that's fine. Pies and Prejudice by Heather Vogel Frederick. This book had England in it. 4 stars. In Some Other Life by Jessica Brody. This book was interesting. Do I want to give it 4 stars? 5 stars? 4 stars? I think because I'm wavering, I'm going to give it 3 stars. It's probably the best choice. The Lines We Cross by Randa Abdel Fattah. The thing is that I really liked this book when I first read it. It has like activism in it and all that stuff, but I can barely remember it. So, I'm not sure if I should give it 3 or 4 stars. Once again, because I'm wavering, I think I have to give it 3 stars. The Daughters of the Sea series by Catherine Ladsky is my entire life. I know I never talk about them because like I read them so long ago and like I don't know if I would enjoy them as much now, but they were amazing when I read them. I read them so many times. I used to borrow them from the library like every couple of months just because they were so good. 5 stars. Okay, we're almost done because my computer is about to die. But I will be doing a video like this again in the future because this was fun. And maybe I will also make one where I sort of write a review-ish, but not like a review, just sort of like what I remember about it so I can have a record of it somewhere, you know, in the world. Okay, 11 Birthdays by Wendy Mass. I think I have to give it 5 stars because that was an amazing book and I loved it. Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. This is the last one I'm going to rate because I just got the notification that my laptop's going to die. I'm between 4 and 5 stars because I loved it. And I've heard so many negative reviews since I loved it that I've rethought how much I love it. But I think I love it, so I think I have to give it 5 stars. That was me rating the books that I've marked as read on my Goodreads. Let me know down below. I don't know, was this a weird video? Was it not something I should do again? Do you like this sort of video? Should I come up with other weird stuff? Should I just do basic booktuber things? Like, I don't know. Give me some feedback. I was tempted to do a tag today, but the last video I posted was a tag, and so I was like, can't do that. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. I don't know if you can see this in my glasses. I hope not. Also, this feels so weird. I guess I could put the Goodreads logo in this hand. That would make sense.